Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another day of just putting ink on paper. Simple enough to do, nothing too dramatic. Just letting the mind work while it still can. So, last time, playing around with concepts of what I expect the future might be like, and human augmentation and all that kind of stuff. Just random things. This one, yesterday I thought, well, it'd be kind of funny to look at plants. And let's make up plants if we have that special ability to do so. So we're going to start off with a seed. And in a way, I think it's more fun to view seeds the same way that you might view an egg. Within a seed, you have the genetic information of what the organism is. Well, the idea that I have is that this would be, let's say, a creature that if you treat it well, it will stay alive in a container or vase or some sort of thing, and that creature would be an observer for you, and you could sing to it and it would grow. And so have a seed. I'm just going to look at it in different stages of its growth. Seed by itself. We'll go with a seed that's starting to germinate. In that same way that a creature might leave its egg shell seems interesting. I think we've all kind of heard stories or heard about studies that plants actually do enjoy specific vibrations. Could be positive music, positive speaking, like actually addressing the plant. Good vibes, as another generation might say. And that seems interesting to me. So, this is where this kind of concept is coming from, that perhaps you could influence a living creature inside of a seed to come out and hang out. So let's say this is the next step in what this special creature would be. Now, I didn't really think about what the name of a plant like this would be. I'm not perfectly familiar with Latin, but I think something like Veritas Verde Amico or Amigo, or but anyway, how about like a true green friend? So if you know the correct Latin for that, then let me know in the comments, or something like that. But I think Veritas is true. So that's the second stage. Next stage, let's look at where it kind of becomes a little more like, what was the creature used in Fantastic Beasts? Bow trickle? I don't know. I will look that up. But we're going to try to make the creature like that in a way, but not really like that, because, well, there's no point in copying something that already exists. This, let's consider to be kind of like a fairy, but not really a fairy. Or like Groot, but not really Groot. So with this one, it's developing limbs of sorts. I think creatures like this kind of exist in actuality in nature right now. So like there's insects that look like twigs, which I think is kind of neat. And these are in some ways meant to disguise it from predators, and or they're great ways to get out there and maybe snack on other creatures. Oh, they're the same size there, just got rid of its shell, developing a little bit of facial features. Let's try the next sort of thing with the creature. But I like the idea of, if you take good care of your little green friend, then they will stick around for you, and they could maybe be a good friend to you, keep you company. You won't have to prune it. And if it decides that you've been a good companion, maybe it would flower and bear fruit so that you could propagate this companion that would maybe maintain some sort of a link to its propagation, so you can go from one room to another or from one household to another, and it wouldn't be a spy or anything like that. It would just be a little friend that could remind you of, I don't know, calendar events or something like that. That would be interesting. So yeah, I think there should be a limit on how much that creature might grow. And again, you would not prune it. With this one, the roots should be a lot deeper. Now, the fun part of this could be if you end up being kind of, I don't know, not good to the creature, that some version of the seed form inside of it where you would never know where it is, it would just leave the body behind somehow and just move away from you and just leave a husk behind. So if you forget to add nutrients to the soil, water it, that sort of thing, it wouldn't be stuck in such a place that it would expire. Now let's give it a little bit more of a fun face. It wouldn't need a nose, of course. Should it have eyes? Should they be tall eyes? Now I wonder, because I mentioned the fantastic beasts, I wonder if that sort of popped inside my head and said, oh, find commonality with that creature, or Groot. It's weird how the mind works like that. Not my intention to do that. This is absolutely unplanned. But you know, you work with reference points inside your mind. So let's say this is kind of like the common form of the creature. Sort of like it's most mature, let's say. It won't really get to look like an elderly person. It will remain vibrant and green. That seems interesting. Now, how would it produce another seed for propagation? So if you have the seed begins to sprout, starts growing and maturing, and then it gets to that maturity level. You know, you need bees for pollination. How will this creature get to that next level? Again, from the earth, from the root system. Let's say that it happens from its dramatic heart. So it will begin a rhythmic sway. Almost like a bonsai tree. If you were to take a picture of a bonsai tree, but consider that this same creature might be kind of like those little animated plants that you can buy where, you know, you listen to music and they kind of dance. Let's say it's kind of like that. So this one will sway and will grow a little flower to start. That seems like fun. And it will focus a lot of its energy on that flower. So there'll be less, let's say, growth of other little leaves in the meantime. We'll call this the springtime mode. How about that? But we'll grow one blossom if it feels like it's had a great host. And for this, its roots will get a little shallow, not as deep. So at this point, it's risky for it to produce or reproduce another version of itself. So at this point, you have to take better care of it. That seems interesting. So it becomes a trust thing as well. Now, what did I call this again? I think I called it this. The Veritas Verte. Maybe M-E. Meh. I don't know right off. So these are the stages so far. You have seed form, or the seed, sprout. Could you call this well, let's say this is mature. We'll call this sprout A, and then B. This is propagation. And we're going to try a larger version. So it seems interesting. Some broccoli kind of attributes as well. But in order for the creature to create the blossom, it kind of gives a little bit of its energy. So in a way, it kind of might look a little bit like fall. So you better take good care of your true green friend. just setting up a spot where a new seed can be, well, it would have been produced. And from here, there remains a cavity from where the seed would have been taken. It's kind of neat to think about how life comes about. And how valuable that is. It's easy to take for granted too, of course. And get upset about rules that might be imposed on you and you think it's unfair. It's possible that it isn't fair, but I want you to imagine that in a lot of circumstances, somebody might care a great deal for you and don't want you to have to go through certain struggles, so sometimes you have to make your own mistakes. And I promise you, the best way to learn is from someone else's mistakes. You don't want to find out how awesome it is to fall from 300 feet. You don't want to make that mistake. That does not benefit you at all. So this does seem a little interesting. Now, I don't know, in the made-up world that we're creating for this particular creature, if this can happen frequently, you know, if they sense that you're a great caretaker, I don't know. Now, here we are with a brand new seed. So this is exciting. Interesting. Pretty soon, the creature will need to get the roots back into the ground again. We'll call this seed sharing. Define those lines a little bit. That's fun. Now, I'm going to disappear for a moment. I'm going to grab a couple of brushes again. And do something fun again with this little bottle of green ink. Actually, let's use a different brush than that. Okay. Okay. We're just going to drop a little bit of green in there. Just hints of it. It's going to blend a little bit with the already existing black ink. It's going to add a little bit of murkiness to it. And technically, you can just do this with just water anyway. And that's fun to do. Create shadow with just water on your pen ink. Like I said, I just want to put hints of green in here. Just little hints. Now we'll go into this one. We'll put more detail into this one. Being that it's kind of the sort of primary picture on the page, we'll let this one do a bit more. Yeah, this is just a fun little exercise of letting your mind come up with weird things, fun things. I don't have a perfect green thumb. I know people that do. Jacqueline has a pretty good knowledge on how that stuff kind of goes. Not me, not really my thing. So the body of this is almost done. Now, you may have heard me say this before. I really do treat sketchbooks like rough idea places. So it is possible that you can do some fairly finished things in a sketchbook, and other times you can just end up with something that just looks, well, like ideas getting put down on a page. And I think that's fine to do it like that. It doesn't have to be a portfolio of your best work. I'm just adding some fun little detail that'll look like shadows in a way. The drama. There we go. We've grown a new creature from seed up through propagation and seed sharing. So that's kind of fun. And now let's add a little bit of color to the seed itself. Okay. neat. Okay. I think that's it for now. No need of taking this idea any further than that, although we could. A little less than 45 minutes just to play around with an idea. Yeah, no, I think that's fun for now for an exercise. Well, I thank you all for joining me on the creation of this creature that I will get a better name for, the Veritas Viridis Amicus, or maybe it could be Amico, or I don't know. We'll get that looked at. Anyway, so you have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll see you at some point in the near future.